Wow. Wow. Yeah, dude. What's going on, guys? If you want to support our content and pick up this month's amazing Patreon rewards, you can do so at patreon.com/itresolves. If you're interested in custom playmats and sleeves, visit yourplaymat.com and use code ITRESOLVES10YP for 10% off your entire purchase. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another standard gameplay video. Hope you guys are doing well today. I am super stoked for today's deck. Before we do this, though, I do want to remind you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to support, but it is also a way to get your hands on some free cards. We're giving away a Streets of New Capenna draft booster box after the set's release early May, so please do check that out. Also, tomorrow, we're going to be having our collection update series. We've got a challenge for you in that series. So in that episode in particular, there's going to be a challenge for you. I would love for you guys to take part in that with me. I'm doing it as well. You'll hear more about it in the video, so please do check that out. But let's jump into today's deck. It's mono red dragons. This is just like good old classic dragons, in my opinion. We have got not only Goldspan Dragon, not only at Sushi, but also Manaform Hellkite. We have got a lot of power packed into this deck. And the idea is really straightforward. It's to burn things up until we can get to 4 or 5 mana, play some big dragons, and then continue the burn expedition to finish off the game. Now, to do that, we have got a lot of things, obviously, in the early turns of the game. We've got Play with Fire, we've got Dragon's Fire, we've got Spikefield Hazard, Light Up the Night, which is also a win condition in this deck. That flashback doesn't have a ton of synergy, but we do have a one of Chandra, so we can flash things back depending on how we need to do this. We've got the Shatterskull Smashing. Outlaw going to be throwing out some treasure tokens and potentially searching up more dragons, especially with at Sushi. You can really go crazy with that and get to those 5 treasures pretty quickly. Seismic Wave going to deal with everything on the opponent's side of the field, hopefully. A very powerful card, and in my opinion, one that I've garnished favor for. How does that sound? We've got Igneous Inspiration, which is really nice, or Igneous Inspiration, excuse me, because it does allow us to have a full sideboard, and you'll notice what's kind of funny about this is because we have so many treasure tokens, or at least that's the hope, we can actually play a lot of these spells that we wouldn't normally be able to play in a mono red deck. You would never see something like Containment Breach as an example. But to have access to this in this deck is super helpful. We also have Fable of the Mirror Breaker, hopefully going to be spitting out some treasure tokens as well and digging us further into the deck. But that's it, guys. It's pretty straightforward. We do have a little bit of tech in the lands. Den of the Bugbear is the full 4, but we also have, of course, Field of Ruin and Crawling Barrens here. And of course the Crucible of Defiance. So an interesting deck here. This is a bit of a passion deck where it's just, I like dragons and I want to try this out. So we're going to give it a shot here, see how it goes. Let's go ahead, guys. Let's jump into game 1. Let's have some fun today. Let's just enjoy it. All right, guys, here we are for game number 1. And this is an interesting hand, but definitely one I feel we can keep. We've got a turn 1 Rabbit Battery, which can get in there. We also, of course, have Dragon's Fire to help protect us against the opposing threats. And so, yeah, I feel pretty good about this. The opponent also mulliganed, which is kind of nice. Looks like we've got a Delver deck on our hands. Fascinating. Okay, let's Den of the Bugbear. I think we definitely attack in here. The upside on Delver is much higher than the upside on the Rabbit Battery. And so we can go ahead, get in for 1. Little worried about this deck. I think we can outpower it. It's not that I'm worried about. It's the getting to there and staying there. They love to tempo things out here, so we gotta hope for the best. All right, so let's do first things first. We're definitely gonna attack in here. And the question becomes, do we want a Dragon's Fire now, or do we wait? I'm actually going to wait. I think the trick here is going to be to do this in response to something. They have got open blue mana, and that's not something I'm really worried about. Or excuse me, that's not something I'm willing to just throw stuff into. Fully expect they're going to have some issues here. Okay. I definitely think we can decline that. So what we can actually do is play a land and Shatterskull Smashing to kill the Geist. So that's actually fine by me. We also just get rid of the Delver here, which is great. They do tap this down, which is a little annoying, but we do have a freebie kill here. to just do this. And yeah, there's nothing. I don't think they can have anything there. Perfect. So I'm really glad that we waited on that Dragon's Fire. I just think that, you know, running that out into just open blue mana is very dangerous. So I think we got to be a little careful about how we do things. But let's first attack and see what the opponent would like to do. We can drop the Manaform Hellkite. Again, I fully expect a counter or something. Okay. That's fine. Again, we know tempo plays are going to be a big thing. Good thing they scryed to the bottom. Let's go ahead and Manaform Hellkite. Probably going to get countered. That's just the reality of it. But I would love to stick this, or at least, yeah, there we go. Well, we did get to waste that Essence Capture. So if you'll notice, they put a 1/1 counter on something they control. They don't have anything. So they can't. Interesting. Okay, so again, we have options. Let's do this first. I'm gonna decline. I'm gonna see what happens. They've got 1 card in hand. I'm betting it's not a counter, and if it is, we still have options. So I feel okay about this. We can play the Shatterskull Smashing as the land and then Seismic Wave to get rid of that. But it looks like we don't even have to. Let's go ahead and throw the Rabbit Battery out. Let's go ahead and attack in. And I am going to play this land here. As much as I would love to leave up more, I think at this point we need to be aggressive. And there we go. We got the win. I think we played that about as perfectly as we could have against Delver. That was a tricky, tricky game. But we did it and we ranked up. Look at us go. Let's jump into game 2. All right, guys, here we are for game number 2. This is a bit of an interesting one. If we get some lands, we're okay. If we can keep the Magda on the field, we're okay as well. I'm gonna try it. This is a bit of a risky one. I'd rather have an extra land and not to light up the sky, or light up the nights, excuse me. All right. So only once each turn. All right, I'm curious to see how this goes then. Cool. All right, so I think the option has to be to kill the Snarling Wolf. It's not a very exciting play, I know, but it keeps them off of drawing a card with the Werewolf Pack Leader. We did get a 3rd land also, which is going to help significantly. This is just going to be a difficult matchup, though. They have got powerful, powerful creatures here, so we're going to have to do the best we can. I would love a Dragon's Fire. Unfortunately, didn't get it, but that's okay. I think we go ahead and Mirror Breaker. So this is going to spit out a token for us, which, you know, is neither here nor there. They can probably just kill it, to be honest. But the reality is we should be able to at least block a little something here. They do get to draw a card. So the question becomes, do we block or do we try and get the token? I'm going to risk it for some potential upside here. We'll see if this actually works out. So I'm going to throw this back. I'm going to throw that back. Let's see what we get. Oh, both very good cards. Okay, so we can double up a little bit this turn. That's kind of nice. Sorcery speed, excuse me, on the Igneous Inspiration. All right. So this can deal 3 damage to the adversary. We then get to attack in and actually keep our 2/2. Let's see. So I think we go here. We kind of just have to. We get to attack in. Okay. And then I think what we do is put a stop before the combat step. So if they do try and fight the 2/2 off here, we might actually be able to kind of get them. Okay. Okay. Let that resolve. Now we go for decline. Let's do this. We don't have to reveal the Goldspan Dragon to kill. But that's going to keep them from drawing a card, which is really helpful. I was waiting to see if they drew like a Blizzard Brawl or something along those lines. That would have been very interesting. So this is going to transform. Get to play a land. Okay, so we can take out a couple things here. So let's do this and this. What that does is deal 3 damage to this and 1 damage to everything else. We can then light up the knight for 1 to kill this. So we're hanging in there just by a thread, but we are hanging in there. And I think we just pass here waiting to try and kill the old growth troll on attacks. And then theoretically we can get the Goldspan Dragon down next turn and really get in for some damage, but we'll see. Okay, so they do have a Blizzard Brawl. That's a problem for us, obviously. Yeah, that really sets us back. Surprising they didn't Blizzard Brawl last turn, unless they just drew it, which is fair. So it looks like they're probably gonna activate the Lair of the Hydra. And is that enough to kill us? I think it is. Yeah. So they did see the line. I still think we played about as well as we could have. I don't think we could have done anything any better. So they get us to -1. Well done, opponent. That was just a tough game. They had so much power. That was a really good draw from the opponent. Well done. Let's jump into a game 3. These are going pretty quick. We might get 4 in. We'll see. Let's jump into game 3, though. All right, guys. Here we are for game number 3. This is an interesting hand. Definitely one I'm okay to keep. We've got the Dragon's Fire to help out against the early game stuff, and we've got double at Sushi. Now, obviously, we don't really want 2 of these, but the trick with that Sushi is if it dies, it's kind of okay. And so we can just kind of aggressively trade that off if we needed to, depending on what we find ourselves against, of course. White, huh? Okay, so I think we just pass. We've got Dragon's Fire up, as well as, well, yeah, just Dragon's Fire, really. All right, looks like the enchantment deck. Fully expected that. Yes, I think we go ahead and do this. So we're gonna decline and just shoot it for 3. That Naturalist is very much a problem, so we really don't want them to have that. Let's do this. Well, it's not exactly ideal to have a tapped land here. It does guarantee that if we'd like, we can Shatterskull Smashing, lose 3, sure, but then drop the Atsushi. It looks like they have a Spirited Companion, but that is it. That's not good for them. Okay, let's go for the Atsushi play. No reason not to at this point. We could have used Light Up the Knight there, but we really don't need to. It's a Spirited Companion. The only thing I'd be a little worried about is the little green 1/1 that throws some counters around, but I think we can outpace that here. Okay, borrow time, sure. That's very good, but we've got better. So I definitely think we go Goldspan Dragon here, and at very worst, we get that treasure token that we can use later on. I think we'll just pass. Again, I'm not actively trying to kill that Spirited Companion. It's not the worry card, right? There are plenty of other cards I don't want on the field. That's not really one I care that much about. Okay, they do have a Touch the Spirit Realm, sure. And again, keep in mind, guys, we have access to a sideboard that does have enchantment hate. Thanks to our treasure tokens, we're able to do that if we so choose. And so we might be able to get there still. All right, I think we just pass. Again, if they just have more and more removal, it's a bit of an annoyance for us, but they're not really committing a lot to the board at this point. So we'll see. It is kind of annoying that the borrowed time and the Touch the Spirit Realm get around the death trigger for the Atsushi. That is a bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world. They have no more green mana this turn. Okay. We're going to buff that up to a 7/7. I mean, hey, it's pretty good. I'm going to let that hit me. And I think I just end up killing it this turn. Yeah, so we get to do this for 2. Let's go ahead and kill that now. We'll attack in. I'm going to leave up the Spikefield Hazard. Again, if they have the little visitor, it's a nice opportunity to be able to, you know, just Spikefield Hazard it in response and kill it. Looks like in this case, though, they just have another Naturalist, which is a good card, but not going to win them the game here. We've got so many options at this point. I think first things first, we're definitely going to attack in. I think we do just kill. Yeah. Just gonna kill the naturalist. Again, just trying to get away from them going crazy, because that's certainly an option. And I actually think we just kind of hold up here. They're gonna get a creature, obviously, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. It does not have flying, which is nice. And again, we're killing off all these little life linkers, so I'm kind of forcing them out of green as best I can to not be able to play more than one thing a turn. And I think they've used up their removal. I had to guess, but we'll see. What would we like here? Honestly, a Goldspan Dragon probably just wins us the game. That's kind of a nice draw. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go this route. We're gonna activate one of these dens and start spreading some damage out here. Let's attack in. We get a little 1/1 here. What I'm trying to do is get away from the borrowed time issue. So if they happen to have another borrowed time, it's not the end of the world. And this gets in for enough damage that we're threatening lethal next turn. Kind of no matter what they do. That's fine. I don't really care. So they kill a land here, and they gain a couple points of life, but that's not really great. Like, it's a stall tactic. It's fine. It's not bad, but they don't have another play. And at this point, we can just attack with that sushi and then Spikefield Hazard them. Okay, they do have it. Again, annoying, but we're working our way around that anyway, so it's not the end of the world. We can actually just kill this portrait as well. They're gonna attack in. Wow. Okay, that's an interesting play. I don't know that I agree with that play. Let's fire this up. I'm sure they've got something here. They have to. I have to imagine they do. Or they're just trying to math this out, but this deals 5 damage. Do they have it? I don't know what they could have here. Oh, they just gained 2 life? Okay. That's fine. We just play the Outlaw? And yeah, I think at this point we just throw this out. Okay, they're down to 2. They're hanging in there. But again, we literally only have to deal 1 damage to them because we can Spikefield Hazard them. This hits anything. This is interesting. This is actually turning into a longer game, so this may be our last one. We're already at 20 minutes, but okay. The trample is very good. Can they just win it? Wow. Wow. Yeah, dude. This has trample. We can't do it. That was such a lucky draw. Oh my gosh. They needed both of those cards to make that work. That was insane. We should have killed it. We definitely should have killed it. You know what? That's okay, though. Let's jump into the wrap-up, guys. I know we're kind of short on this one, but I'd like to get more videos recorded. Let's talk about this. All right, so all in all, a kind of fun deck, really. Like, this at heart, I think, is just trying to have some fun with dragons. I actually do think it's kind of good. I would tech it out maybe slightly differently. I do think there are some things that could be significantly better about this deck and at least more efficient. I will say a lot of the burn spells are potentially not at their best in certain cases. Now, that being said, this isn't necessarily like trying to be a tier 1 deck, so take that with a grain of salt, but I will say I really enjoyed playing it. It was a lot of fun. I like having a lot of dragons. We really didn't get to see the Manaform Hellkite do its thing, but everything else was really good. And aside from some good draws by the opponents, I think we could probably get some more wins with this. I think mono green is going to be a struggle because they're just faster, you know, and a lot of our burn is outpaced by that. However, given a burn heavy hand, you can outpace them pretty quickly too, because you can just burn out the early stuff, and if they don't have much else, then you're good to go. All in all, though, I think a really fun deck and a really good time. I just love playing dragons. So that's all this was. Guys, please make sure tomorrow, again, you check out the collection update. There is a challenge there. It's going to be a really fun one, I think, and hopefully one that's a little bit more personal than just like gameplay and that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy that. It's going to be a really good time. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Everybody here is an amazing person, an amazing part of the MTG community. It's really good to have you. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you again very soon, though, for some more gameplay videos and that collection update. Don't forget to enter the giveaway, guys. I'll see you. Bye.